Hello and welcome to the tardy show Biz Buzz with Bruno. I'm Michael Bruno, your host, and today we're going to talk about Broom Street Theater's upcoming production with two of my favorite people in the world, Colleen and Jan. Thank you for coming today.
Oh,
Thank you
that's
for
so
having
nice.
us.
You're one of
Yeah.
my favorite people.
Oh, how
Absolutely.
sweet. It's a love fest all the way
Yes.
around. So, Jan, you have done this before, so you're an old pro. Colleen, in all the years that we've known each other,
I
this is your
know.
virgin
I
time
know.
out. I cannot
Yeah.
believe this. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
I'm excited too.
So, first of all, Jan, since you are the author, creator, playwright, and director, right?
Yes.
Yes. And probably understudy and lighting technician and sound technician
Chief
and
cook
board
and
operator.
Bottle washer.
So tell us all about what we need to know about Head on a Silver Platter in defense of Salome.
So the key thing to understand about this is it's not a religious piece.
Okay.
Although the story of Salome originates in a few sentences in the New Testament, I'm not Christian. I really don't know the New Testament, although I did read those sentences. I saw the opera and I started figuring, and I realized that Salome had to be about 15. And I went, okay, they're blaming this whole thing on a teenager. No. And I was really angry. I came out of that opera. I bet I'm the only person in the history of humankind who came out of a really beautiful production of an opera angry. But I wasn't angry at the performers. They were fabulous. I was angry at Richard Strauss. And then I said, okay, I'm going to find out about this story. Well, it turns out most of what's in the opera has nothing to do with the New Testament. And it is more based on Oscar Wilde's one-act play of the same name. So I started looking into Salome, thinking this might be a springboard for what I want to talk about in my next play, which is the way that women's history is often distorted to the advantage of someone who's distorting it. And that's the basic thing to know, that this is not about religion, this is about women's history. And in this case, it's fictional history, but because of the very long fictional history, it kind of ends up with the strength of being truth, which it's neither true. It is fiction, and my piece is also fiction. They're just different fictions.
So does it actually tell the story of what the whole Salome biblical story is, or is this in reference to, and you've reimagined it as a new play?
It's both. Actually,
Okay.
Salome, played by the lovely Colleen, tells her own story, and tells it, again, jumps off from the story in the Bible, and then she explains other things that were added to the story over time. One of the things that's remarkable about Salome is how much these painters, mostly European painters, were just fascinated with her. There are hundreds of paintings of Salome in every possible way. Sometimes she has the head of John the Baptist, sometimes she doesn't have it. Sometimes she looks like she's about to step into a brothel, sometimes she looks like she's about to step into a nunnery. And I found that interesting, that she was such a focus of art. And Salome talks about that too. So there's a lot from the jumping off point in the New Testament to where our Salome ends up. That's part of the play.
So speaking of that, how does it feel to be playing a 15-year-old girl?
Well, to be honest, when Jan first asked me if I would play Salome, my first reaction was, me? But I think that the beauty of this part is that it's sort of an every woman, because so many of the things that she went through and experienced as imagined in this play are things that women everywhere have been through and have experienced. And I think that I can represent all women, who have reached womanhood, and the emotions that they have, and the experiences that they have throughout their life. Yeah, I just think she's more of an every woman, and she represents all of the things that women have had to endure through history and through life in general.
So obviously you knew the story before you went in.
Not really
Oh,
well.
really? Oh,
No.
really? So I was going to, did you do your own history then of finding who she was and how the story became and what some of the different...
No, actually I didn't. Part of that is because I'm lazy, but the other part of it is, though, when I come to a script and when I come to a text, I like to come to it fresh, and not having preconceived notions about what it should be or shouldn't be. So I like to take it fresh and take it and run with it from that
So
point.
did you have conversations with Jan about her, though? About who she was and what she is in her play?
After I was cast, yeah, we talked about it, for sure. You know.
And so was the entire script set when you cast it, or has it evolved after you've cast it, depending on who you cast in your characters?
I told the cast when they were cast that it was going to be about 2 weeks where I would rewrite parts of it in response to what happened in the rehearsal. And at least one cast member was, "Are you gonna finish rewriting anytime soon?"
That wasn't me.
I was going to say, whose voice is that? Let me see. Who is she imitating?
Although there was a rewrite this last week, I believe.
Oh, a word here and
Briefly,
there, but
briefly.
not really. Well, when we lost 2 cast members over.
Oh, you
the
lost
course-
2? You had one.
And one of them was one of the dancers, and she had to leave for health reasons, and so I did have to rewrite all the scenes that Salome is in, because all the dancers are in those scenes, to accommodate 3 dancers instead of 4. So it's been kind of a quick zap of a rehearsal for those.
Yeah.
And this is like a multi-faceted, that's the word I'm looking for. You have dance, there's some music,
Yes.
there's also, it's also obviously a play. So you've incorporated, a multi-visual. Who's doing the choreography for this?
Oh, Heidi
I
Hackseth.
love Heidi. Love my Heidi. She's
Heidi
great.
is so fantastic, and she was so amazingly flexible when we lost the dancer and she had to re-choreograph
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
And we were like 5 minutes from opening, and she was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll just have another rehearsal. It'll be fine." And it is. I mean, part of it is that we have fabulous dancers, but part of it is that Heidi just can do magic.
So does she have rehearsals with the dance part separate from from your rehearsals? Then you kind of
Yes.
you plug it all together Are you already in the Broom Street space?
Yes.
Yes. So tell me about some of your other castmates in the show.
Oh gosh. Well, what I'm enjoying being in this particular cast, because I'm getting to work with some people I've worked with before and some people I haven't worked with before. The people that I work probably most immediately with are the dancers. There's I'm gonna have to put my glasses on.
You can cheat. That's quite all
'Cause
right.
There's Heidi and Laura, who were both in Overprint. They were dancers in Overprint. So it's
Heidi is Heidi White's, not
Thank
Heidi
you.
Hackseth.
Two Heidis.
Heidi
Yeah.
White's,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Laura
Athas.
Athas, and then Katie Ann Rodriguez, who is the new dancer. So those are the 3 that I interact with most. They're fabulous. I love being able to sit on stage and watch them dance. That's been delightful. And then the young woman that's playing Sally is Nadia Marshall, and I have not worked with her before, but she's been they're all wonderful. I can't say enough about them. Will Kepke.
I hope that's how we pronounce it.
Trey Danis, Joel Davison, Liz Mayle. I mean, it's just a wonderful. Cassie Haskins. Just a wonderful, wonderful cast of people. I'm sure I've missed somebody, and
Well,
I really apologize.
Brian Bells.
Brian Bells.
Oh,
yeah.
Bells! How could you forget Bells?
How could I forget? And the character that he plays is really he does such a marvelous job. And if you know Brian, you know that he's just the most gentle, kind, loving person, and the character he plays is not that.
Certainly true.
And he does a marvelous job. So they've all worked really hard. They're all just professional people to be able to work with them. It's been really wonderful. I've really enjoyed it.
And is this your first Broom Street show? Have you been in Broom Street shows before?
Yes. In fact, the last Broom Street show I was in was Our Home States back in May and June. And then I was in Our Home States, the first edition, a few years ago. So, yeah. So this is my third Broom Street show.
Well, there you go. Trifecta.
Yeah.
So one thing that Colleen said that may need some explaining is that what Salome does in trying to understand her own history is she evokes a modern version of her story.
Ah, okay.
And in invoking this modern version, everything gets distorted. So John the Baptist in the original story is an okay guy. He just wants people to atone for their sins. John in the new story is a right-wing podcaster, completely distorted, and that's who Bells plays. And he's so scary. Mm-hmm. And one thing that happened during the course of our rehearsals is that a famous right-wing podcaster was murdered. And I just want to say for the record that my character was not based on Charlie Kirk.
Okay.
In fact, I listened to Charlie Kirk because I listened to tons of right-wing podcasters and trying to develop my own. But I don't really even remember him that well because I was looking for something else and creating my character.
So in the original story, because being the lapsed Catholic that I am, why did Salome have the power to demand that? Who was she?
Well, we asked that question in the play. How did she have that power?
See, I did my history homework too.
So the basic story in the New Testament is that Salome and her mother, whose name was Herodias, married one of the Herods, the important Herod Antipas, and but they were both divorced. And the reason John the Baptist was mad at them is because their divorce was illegal under Jewish law. That's a whole other story I can't explain. I can explain, but it would take too long.
That's your next sequel, please.
Yeah, my next sequel is the legalities in the Bible. And so they got married. John the Baptist is out on the street preaching against them because of the illegality and immorality of their marriage. And he accuses Herodias of being a slut, basically, of sleeping with people in the army, and I don't remember what all. And at some point, separate from that issue, Herod decides that he's going to have a big gala for his birthday, and he wants Salome to dance nude for his guests. And so she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then she, on behalf of her mother, goes to the jail to see John the Baptist to tell him, and in the meantime, Antipas gets John the Baptist arrested just because he doesn't like what he has to say. Does that sound familiar? Uh-huh. So Salome is at home with her mother, who has been accused, and John the Baptist is in jail, and who knows what Antipas is doing. And so Salome goes to the jail and says to John the Baptist, stop talking this way about my mother, and oh, wow, are you cute? I think I'd like to kiss you.
Oh.
And John the Baptist basically says, are you crazy? And so then she gets really mad at him for rejecting her, according to the story, goes home, says to Antipas, okay, I'll do the dance, but you have to get me the head of John the Baptist. This is according to the original story. And he, for some reason, can't find another dancer in all of Galilee. So he acquiesces, and in the opera, it's one of the most, it's actually, that opera was first staged in 1905. So it's been staged for 120 some years. And people always think the scariest moments in the play is when the head comes out and it's dripping with blood. And when I saw the production, I saw the Salome was wearing a gray dress, and so the stage blood was just dripping down her dress. It was very effective. Unfortunately, some people in the audience thought it was very funny, and they were laughing. So,
Oh, great.
Yeah, just can't. With audiences, you'd never know what's going to
Well,
happen.
that's very
you
true.
know?
That's very. And wasn't she supposed to do the dance of the seven veils? Isn't that
The dance.
But she decided not to do it naked, and she had the veils as like a strip tease.
She took the veils off.
Ah.
That's each of the seven veils with another revelation. So in our play, each of the seven dances is let us get rid of something we don't want stuck to us. But it's things like hating our own bodies. It's not things like let's get naked. I did suggest the other day to the cast that we could do a naked version of the play, and basically Colleen said she would quit.
Yeah. Sorry, but
You've done odder things for me in my place, Colleen Murphy.
yeah. I've done some odd things, but I do draw the line.
So, do you get to dance in this?
I do.
I love that.
Well, so there are seven veils, so there are seven dances. I'm not doing most of the dancing. I'm only dancing in the last dance.
Oh, you get the big finish.
Yeah. So it's not a tap dance, but I'll survive.
So that is incorporated then. It obviously that's one of the other famous things is that not only was it the severed head of John the Baptist, it was the dance of the seven veils, which goes back to the biblical story of it.
Although the dance of the seven veils is something that Oscar Wilde invented. All it says in the Bible is that she danced. Or that he wanted her to dance. It depends on which gospel you're reading. In one of the gospels, she doesn't even have a name. And here's another funny thing. I'm sorry I don't remember which gospel is which, but in one of the gospels, there are two people named Salome. The other one is at Christ's resurrection, and she washes his feet or something with the other women. She is not the same Salome as far as I can tell. There are two Salomes, and they're unrelated. Because why waste time thinking of new names, as we say in the play?
Well, it also doesn't fit the time frame, because John the Baptist was way before Jesus Christ.
No, that he was a relative.
Not way before, but he was a precursor to.
He is the one who baptized Christ.
Right.
And it was baptizing him that, according to my preacher friend, is what
Ah.
started Christ's ministry. So they were contemporaries,
Okay.
but Baptist was older. And now I've just wrecked my whole. I cannot be trusted around equipment.
That's quite all right. It's all replaceable. It's all replaceable.
God.
So, of course, now that question went right out of my head. So, what are the dates?
It opens October 10th, which is Friday, and it runs 3 weekends, including 3 Sundays at 2:00. So if you're not a night person, we got some shows for you. And it closes on October 26th, which is the Sunday.
So it's 3 weekends.
3 weekends. Right.
And is this a suggested not for children audience?
Absolutely.
So what's your sort of age range? Depending on the kid, doesn't it?
I mean, it depends on
really?
the child, and
Yeah.
it is the parent's decision. But if it were up to me, I would say older than middle school. And it's partly because there are topics discussed in the play, although not depicted, including suicide, rape, political violence, and especially right now, in some ways, I think political violence might be the most traumatic.
I'm sure. We're
Because
living through it.
We're living through it every day. The one thing I'm sorry about, since I just crammed this show full of all of my positions on politics, is I don't really address the question of immigration very much, which is kind of too bad because, that's one of the things that's instigating all the political violence out there in the world right now. But I can't really rewrite the play right now because the cast would kill me.
Yeah, seeing as how you open Friday, I would be a little perturbed at a complete rewrite.
one cause at a time.
Don't forget, you have to be planning the sequel already, Jan,
Yeah,
so that you
yeah.
can address the entire thing as you know, as in defense of Salome and immigrants.
Yes.
There you
Why
go.
didn't I think of that?
Salome comes to America.
There you
Yes.
go. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. So who are some of the other production team members? Who's stage managing? Who's doing your lights and sets? And
Shane and Valerie Heim are stage manager and assistant stage manager. They actually got married just a little before we started rehearsals and missed
Aw.
some of the first few days of rehearsals because they were on their honeymoon.
Aww.
So the producer is Liz Mail, who's also in the show, and Liz's husband is also in the show. So we have two couples there. And then Amy and
Amy Rowland.
Amy Rowland and Megan Hires, who are also a couple, did the set. And the set is so gorgeous, right?
Yep.
Is it gorgeous?
Yep. And we have Emma Stodmeyer's doing the
Oh, I
costumes.
miss my Emma.
Yeah,
God, I haven't seen
yeah.
her in years.
Yeah.
She does use the stage name Katz, Emma Katz.
Emma Katz.
Sorry.
Right,
And,
right.
And Mary Mitchell's doing the props, and she and I have worked together on many shows, and she is the best props person in the world. The lighting has been designed by Patricia Macetic, also someone I've worked with in many, many shows. And the master electricians are the Koenig brothers, also people I've worked with on many shows. And the three of them are like a fantastic team. So that's been great.
That's cool
And
that you have
then-
all these, like, you know, couples and siblings and people that know each other. When's Captain Murphy going to appear on stage with you?
Yeah. When's that going to happen?
You
I
know,
could have
he
given
was-
him a line.
He was on the news not too long ago. With,
He was?
yeah, with Lee Mills and talking about the Dell's boats.
Oh,
So he's gotten some screen time too.
see? Now we got to get him on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we do the Love Boat musical,
Yeah,
he's going to be
exactly.
Captain Stubing. We'll be right
Yeah,
as Captain
yeah.
Murphy.
Oh man.
And then,
Well,
yeah.
he's got the uniform.
I love it. I love it. So is there
I left out one important,
yes.
the sound people. So my son, Jeremy Thal, wrote the original music we're using for the dances, and Kaya Calise did all the rest of the sound, and she is a wonder. I've also worked with her a lot, so.
And are you doing a pay what you can?
Yes, that's Broom Street's actual policy.
And is that for every show?
Every
for
show.
Evening and matinee as well?
Every show of ours, but every show at Broom Street now is pay what you can.
Okay.
And so I say to people, if you haven't been to Broom Street, you might as well try it out. It's pay what you can. You can pay $1 and see what you think. But I think enough people are paying kind of standard rates that it evens out for Broom Street, and they're not losing money. So.
Good.
Yeah, it's Broom Street is the oldest continuously operating experimental theater company in the United States, so it's a really precious resource we have. So
Ding!
that was my phone, I'm afraid.
There was Broom Street saying thank you for
Yes,
the plug.
that's right. or Salome, we don't really know, you know.
Yeah, and it's the history of Broom Street Theater is of course part of Madison theater lore.
Oh yeah.
The only thing they need is a parking lot.
Yes. Well, and a lobby.
Oh well, yeah, a lobby would be nice in the winter. Yeah, that's very true.
I have often wondered whether it would be possible to raise the money to build a lobby on the front of the building. I used to be on the board there, and I was always thinking, or could we build up? Could we build a second? I have a million ideas. All of them require a lot of money.
Yeah.
So when you win the lottery,
Right.
That's right.
Because it's really set back far away from the street, so you really do have it is nice in the summer, in the spring, in the fall to have that beautiful little walkway in the garden. But there is, I mean, if somebody came through with with the lottery money, you could put a lobby adjacent to where the door is.
Yeah, I don't know what the
The building
regulations
code. Yeah.
involved would be
Right.
because there's another property right next to it. But I do know that Broom Street Theater has weathered a lot of limitations on its resources, and it's still there, and they're still doing fabulous experimental work. I mean, earlier this year, There was a play by Doug Reed that was called, I keep calling
Reconstituted.
it Reconstituted,
Oh,
in which he played himself on a White House tour in which he was such a know-it-all that they locked him in the closet. The other people on the tour locked him in the closet, and he says, and it may or may not have been biographical. And then in the closet, he finds the original version of the Constitution, and he changes it all. It was incredibly funny, but also very political and very experimental in the sense that there were little pieces in between him explaining how he would change the Constitution that were like from the Three Stooges, or just wonderful fun stuff. And there, Our Home States was very interesting short pieces about different events around the country and so on. So.
Well, and I think it's important to have these spaces for creative people to be able to try out things that may not be mainstream. I mean, a lot of the things that they do at Broom Street tend to be more traditional. It's a play, and but for them to have that space to be able to experiment is really it's a treasure. It's really a treasure.
And is Doug still the artistic director, or is there somebody new now?
Yeah.
I understand.
Maria Damon, I believe, is
correct.
Is the artistic director right
But
now.
Doug is Doug still involved?
He's still on the board.
He's still on the board.
And Maria's sister, Krista Damon, is the chair of the board. So another sister pair. There's just pairs everywhere at Broom Street. Another play that was just on a Broom Street, which was called The Returns, was a play from Norway, I think, and it was 45 minutes long. And it had the most creative use of the space I've ever seen. And I've seen lots of creative uses. Our set is a very creative use of the space, thanks to Megan and Amy. But so I mean, it's just great to see so many different people using the space and coming up with these theatrical experiences that you can't have if you have to make tons of money. And the theater's paid for, the building itself is paid for, the taxes are minimal, and like I said, they have limited resources, but they're very flexible isn't the word I'm looking for. They're very
accommodating,
creative in using the limited resources they have. So. And I've seen so many good things at Broom Street, I can't tell you. And sometimes I've seen things that I didn't love as much, but I would also say that's true of every theater I've ever been to.
Well, that's very true. I mean, there have been shows at the Overture that that in the Broadway tour, and it's like, really?
What?
I've seen high school productions that have been better than this, and then you don't have to pay $150 for a seat in the fourth balcony.
Exactly.
Well, and I've also discovered too that there are some shows that I think are absolutely fabulous that other people have kind of went, really? And vice versa. There are some things that I thought were real garbage that other people just, it was the best thing I've seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of the wonderful thing about theater, right?
Right,
And that's the whole
right,
point. It's like
right.
you bring to it what you get out of it, and some people doesn't speak to them. You wonder, well, what did you see in that? Because you have a different perspective.
Yep, exactly.
That could be true of Salome, that the play is complicated because there's the modern play and there's the Salome part of the play with dancing in it, and the dancing is to music that's very odd, and sometimes it doesn't really seem like they're dancing to music. It seems like they're dancing to talking, and it's just an odd play. So there might be people who come to it and say, why did I come to this? But I'm hoping there'll be enough people who come to it and go, well, that was interesting.
I think if nothing else, it will make you think about the story and rethink what maybe you've heard, and maybe form your own opinion about Salome.
And the interesting thing about that is that you say that name, and maybe not to the young generation, but to most people, what that name is, and something about Salome, something about about John the Baptist or the Dance of Seven Veils, or whatever iteration of it. It's a name that that people have heard about. So it's interesting to hear another perspective on it. And also, then again, you introduce people that maybe don't know anything about it, don't know who Salome was or what that whole story was, and the fact that how interestingly that all these men decided to write about her and make her the villain of the piece. And it's like you say, you look at it through different eyes, and you realize, how many other stories did men change around to get rid of or erase women's culture, or make women the villain or the evil person, who grabs the apple and forces Adam to eat the apple. Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Really? Who wrote that story?
Yeah. I mean, as I once learned from someone, you can look at it as that Eve got kicked out of Eden, or you can look at it as she escaped. And, there are many stories that would be interesting to retell from the women's perspective. There are many, many women whose stories, we know them as criminals.
Mm-hmm.
But if you went and looked at their version of their story, you might have a different opinion afterwards. And that was kind of where I was going, not just about Salome. That's just where I decided to start. But in general, the way women are represented in fictional or real, the way they're represented on the page, in fiction, in history books, is sometimes not in their personal interests, and you can actually figure out whose interests they're in.
Fascinating. Well, I think it's a fascinating story, and I think it's brave of you to retell it and have the lovely, lovely Colleen playing Salome, which I just adore.
There's a lot. She has a lot of lines, and I needed somebody I knew could make that many lines make sense.
No pressure.
Yeah, well, you can always just sing, you can't remember your lines, just sing something, it'll be fine.
She can sing, she can tap dance, she can do dialects, she can do it all.
Yeah, well.
This is true. This is a true story.
It is true. I know firsthand. Lovely. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Go and see the show, Broom Street Theater. Tickets are on sale at the Broom Street.
Yeah, if you just show up to the show, you can pay whatever but you can also go online and get reserved tickets, but they're more expensive. I mean, there's actually a set price. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's at BST Online, so all one word, Broom Street Theater Online, bstonline.org.
.org, right? Perfect. Wonderful. Again, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Brett. Thank you to Ginger Talking Bottle Rockets. Thank you to Deb. Thank you to my husband. Thank you to Jan. Thank you to Colleen. And
I'd like to thank your husband, too. Okay.
I always thank my husband. And we'll see you in about 2 weeks. Yay! Wonderful.
Cool.
I didn't say why, but it's because he kept me from getting a ticket because I was parked across your...